Fatimat, Abazin fairy tales. Once, in a time with princes and nobles, there lived a very poor old man. He had a little daughter named Fatimat. The old man worked hard in the noble's field all day, while Fatimat took care of their home. She cleaned, sewed, cooked, and washed. One day, Fatimat wanted to cook lunch for her father, but she had no salt. She asked all the neighbors, but no one could give her any. So, Fatimat decided to ask the princess for some salt. She went to the prince's house and found her sitting by the fire, sewing a gold cap. The princess looked at Fatimat and said, "What do you want, dirty girl? How did you get here?" Fatimat's heart hurt, but she said, "Could you lend us a pinch of salt?" The princess looked at her with anger. "How brave you are! I will prick your tongue with a needle. Go away. We have no salt for you." Fatimat remembered the prince's cruel words. Even when she grew up and became a beautiful girl, she could not forget the insult. She thought of how to take revenge. One day, she saw that the prince had left for a battle with his army. Fatimat went to the princess again. "The prince sent me," she said, pretending to be out of breath. "He forgot to tell you to cook basima. He said to cook it without any spices." The princess was sad because her husband was away. She did not look at Fatimat and shouted, "We know what to put in and what not to put. Get out of my sight." Fatimat was hurt again. She thought to herself, "Wait, proud and cruel princess. I will pay you back." The princess ordered her servants to cook the basima. They did everything but did not add any spices. When the prince returned from battle, he was happy and they served basima to the guests. The prince said, "Greetings." The guests started to eat the basima, but they soon put their bowls down. It was tasteless and had no flavor. The prince was so angry that he wanted to punish the princess, but his friends stopped him. "Who taught you to make basima without spices, wise woman?" The prince asked angrily. "How did you humiliate me in front of my guests?" "Please forgive me," the princess cried. "A girl came and told me you ordered basima without spices. I would rather disappear than see you angry." That was how Fatimat got back at the princess for her first insult. She made the princess look foolish in front of everyone. What happened next? The prince called the people together and told them to bring a big stone to the main square of the village. "Listen, everyone," said the prince. "No one has ever dared to insult me. Now everyone will say a girl made a fool of me and my wife. I do not know who she is, but I will punish her. You must find her and bring her to me, or I will make you skin this stone that you brought here. If you do not do it, you will regret it. My word is strong." The people knew the prince was serious and went home in fear. Fatimat's father came home sad and worried. "What's wrong, Dad? Are you feeling unwell?" she asked. The old man told her everything. "Do not be sad, dear Dad. Sleep well. I will think of what to do, and I will tell you in the morning," Fatimat said. Though the old man was not sure, he listened to his daughter. But he could not sleep all night. He was worried. When the sun rose, he saw Fatimat was already awake. "Listen, Dad," she said. "Tell the prince you did not find the girl. When he orders you to skin the stone, say, 'Can you skin a sheep that is still alive?' You, prince, are the wisest. You are our great ruler. Cut the stone, and we will skin it at your feet." The old man was surprised by his daughter's cleverness. He felt better. He ate what he could and went to the meeting. The people gathered, and the prince shouted angrily, "Have you found the girl? Who has found her? Where is she? Speak." The people stood looking down. They were quiet. Then Fatimat's father stepped forward, bowed to the prince, and said, "You, prince, just give the command. We will do everything you say. We did not find the girl. But if you want us to skin the stone, we will do it. Just cut the stone, our ruler. Cut it. You cannot skin a sheep that is not dead." As the old man spoke, the people began to cheer up. They all looked up and smiled, but the prince was very angry. What could he do now? The next day, when the sun came up, the prince sent a servant to call Fatimat's father. The old man trembled with fear, but he knew he had to go. It is bad to not listen to the prince. Fatimat saw that her father was sad and worried. "What's wrong, Dad? Are you sick?" she asked. "No, daughter. The prince called for me. I fear the worst." He replied, "Is that all? Don't be scared, Dad. Go bravely. Just see what he wants." The old man went to the prince's house. His legs felt heavy. The servants reported him, and the prince ordered him to come in. The prince looked angry, like a bee had stung him. "How dare you humiliate me in front of everyone?" he asked. "Now you will pay. Your life is in my hands. Find that girl, even if you have to dig her out from underground. If you do not find her, you will spin thread from this hemp stalk by morning and make me a cap and gloves. If you do not do it, I will take your head." The old man went home, wiping the sweat from his forehead. He reached home with great difficulty, holding the hemp stalk and crying bitterly. When Fatimat saw what the prince wanted, she comforted him. "Do not worry, Dad. Tomorrow you will go to the prince and say I have soaked and peeled the hemp. Here is the wood from it. Now you must make me a spinning wheel and a loom from this hemp wood. I will spin yarn, weave cloth, and make you a cap and gloves." The old man felt better, and the next morning he took the peeled stalk to the prince. "Ah," the prince said, "you came? Where is the girl? Where are the gloves? Where is the cap? You stand here empty-handed? Now your life is in my hands." "Do not be angry, Prince," the old man bowed. "I did not find the girl, but I will try to fulfill your other order. I am a poor man and I have neither a spinning wheel nor a loom at home. I have peeled and prepared your hemp. Here is the wood from it. Command that a spinning wheel and a loom be made from this wood. I will weave you some yarn and make the cap and gloves." The prince's face turned red with anger and then pale with shock. He could not find words to reply to the old man, so he sent him away. The old man went home, feeling relieved at least he was alive. He told Fatimat how he puzzled the prince. But the prince could not sleep that night. He tossed and turned all night and was angry all day. He did not like his army, his horses, or any of his riches. He did not enjoy life. Then he sent another servant to Fatimat's father. The old man shivered with fear again, but he had to go. It is bad to not listen to the prince. Fatimat saw that her father was upset. "What is it, Dad?" she asked. "Are you sick?" "No, daughter. The prince wants to see me again. I fear trouble." "Is that it?" "Do not be afraid, Dad. Go bravely and see what he wants." The old man went to the prince. He walked slowly, his legs heavy. The servants reported him, and the prince called him in. The prince looked very angry. "You old trickster, where did you learn all this? Go home and tell the one who taught you to come see me. He can come dressed or undressed, walking or riding. And he must bring me an empty chest with a gift inside. Hurry! If you do not do this, I will take your head." The poor old man was full of despair. He stumbled home and told his daughter what the prince demanded. "Do not worry, Dad," Fatimat said to comfort him. "Lie down and rest. I will think of something." Fatimat caught a sparrow and then 2 hares. She tied the hares and put the sparrow in a box. She sat on an old goat's back she rode while her feet touched the ground. She wrapped herself in a thin scarf and went to the prince. When she reached the prince's gates, she stopped her goat without entering the courtyard. The servants saw her and ran quickly to the prince. "What should we do?" they asked. "There is a girl at the gates. She is dressed and not dressed, riding a goat and holding a box under her arm." The prince shook with anger. "That must be the bold girl," he shouted. "I do not want to see her. Send the dogs after her." The servants ran and released all the dogs except the meanest one, who was still on a chain. The dogs ran at Fatimat, and she released 1 hare. The hare ran away, and the dogs chased after it. Fatimat urged her goat and bravely entered the courtyard. The prince was angry and waved his fists. "Release the last dog," he cried from the window. Quickly, the servants freed the last, meanest dog. It rushed at Fatimat. She was not scared at all. She let the second hare go. The hare darted away, and the dog chased after it. Fatimat jumped off the goat, went to the window, and said to the prince, "I did everything you asked. I came and did not come, dressed and not dressed, not walking and not riding. And here is your empty box with a gift." She opened the box and showed the prince. The sparrow flew out and away, leaving the prince with an empty box. The prince was silent for a long time, but then he said, "You win. Ask for anything. I will do anything for you." "I do not want anything," Fatimat replied. "Just let me cook basima in your house in the way I know and treat you and your guests." The prince called the princess. The princess called the servants. "Listen to this girl in everything she says. Do whatever she commands," the prince ordered. "Open all our storerooms for her." The prince's face twisted with anger, and she looked pale with shame, because everyone saw that Fatimat was a great master and made basima better than she did. So, the poor girl taught the proud princess a lesson twice, making her look foolish in front of others.